the semifinals of the very first North American Weekly Cup for the ESL Pro Tour 2020. Two names. If you've ever followed Starcraft for 4.5 seconds, you should know the Queen of Blades, the Canadian Zerg. I believe currently residing in Korea, but for Team Newbie, it is Scarlett. And then the man who switched from Terran/Random to Zerg a solid 8 years ago, more than 8 years ago. But people still ask him, are you gonna play Terran or Random? And, well, and also a fan favorite. He's been around StarCraft since the very beginning. Thus, those questions. Also, currently in Canada. Well, actually, Scarlett, I think, is in Korea. And TLO is in Canada. Which is why he participates in so many NA events nowadays. But from Germany, Team Liquid's the little one. Zerg versus Zerg. Always a spicy matchup. I'm not sure if these players have any new strats to break out. Saw a little bit of Scarlet ZVZ earlier, opting for the +1 Carapace Rush plays, which is a little cheesy. But Zerg versus Zerg, I don't know. Like, there's so many ways to describe it. But let's try to do it in a positive one. It is the closest to poker, like your Texas Hold'em style poker of any matchup, in my opinion, of StarCraft 2. Now, I might not be a poker expert. I lost to Mike Morheim, which seems mildly ironic. But, and then I retired. My career was over at that point. Eliminated. But using limited information, and honestly, sometimes you just can't get the information. Players like Cyril and Raynor always seem to get a Zergling in, but that is by no means guaranteed. Wait, what is this TLO is doing here? He's mining towards the other third, and he's going to get through it. And that might be enough to sneak this base and not have it, because everybody sends their Overlord anyways. So, working off of limited information, bluffing your opponent, like trying to show them certain amounts of tech, calling bluffs is a big part of it as well. Like, are they really going for that Spire? Are they really going to make a bunch of roaches, or are they just droning? And, of course, knowing what your opponent could potentially have. Like, just because you see a Baneling nest in a third base doesn't mean that they're playing macro. They could easily be hiding 20, 30 Zerglings in their main, ready to stream out and ruin your day. And honestly, most of the early game gets to that point. And then later on, it kind of just becomes a boxing match, depending on the styles we're playing, between Roach Burrow Move and Mutilating Bane, as we keep slapping around and doing damage. Cyril and Raynor, well, between the, 5+, I think including Home Story Cup, the 5+ high-profile matches of Cyril versus Raynor, we've seen that ZVZ can be so much more than Ling Bane or Roach Wars. It can also be Lurkers and Vipers. And Ultraless Dying. Rest in peace. Oh, Cyril. Never forget. Now, by the way, Scarlett scouted this sneaky third very early on. Not that this was reliant on being hidden. It's more, this location is actually a little bit safer. It has a ramp leading up to it. Whenever you have a ramp, you can deny vision a lot easier. That means Ling Bane just pretty much not going to be a thing. Also going to be helpful against roaches. Just overall, it takes a little bit of extra work to get there, but at the end of the day, I think it gives you a slight advantage over the other base. It really depends on who ends up being aggressive. Scarlett has a few more drones, so she's probably going to end up making roaches first. But it's... Wait, is that a melee upgrade? TLO is going Mutiling. This is a bluff. Oh, is this a hard wall? So when you do this, you can hard wall. Okay. Oh, he's bluff. Oh, poker time. So Scarlett, will she bite on this? Because a Spire is on the way, but there's a melee upgrade. There's no way for Scarlett. She sees one upgrade, and the Roach weren't upgrading. So that looks like Roach speed and +1. You know what Scarlett's getting? Roach speed and +1. So, like, it's not surprising that TLO would get that. But it's a fake. He's going for the Spire. Now, while this isn't a rich Vespine base anymore, the speed over getting in, though. How does Scarlett react? We're going to the Scarlett action cam. This isn't the Scarlett action cam. Oh, wait. Ah! Oh, I see it! There's a Spire! Hydra Den immediately. Queens immediately. Overlords pulled back. The Overlord speed. Well, those Overseers go to they engage. Well, they go to ludicrous speed. It was something plaid, but even despite this, I think TLO, he has, well, it's going to give him plenty of map control still. The Zerglings really want the base, but it doesn't matter what they want. I don't know if that's a complete waste, because now that base is going to be at an awkward amount of HP and will end up being a focal point of defense. And it might require an overcommitment. Sure, there might be a transfuse or two, but Scarlett actually dealt with a Mutiling player earlier in the tournament, MSRM. The Bulgarian player who got off to a great start. Scarlett was struggling, but the Muta control wasn't there. Muta's very fragile. They're a Muta risk. And in order to pay off, you have to pay a whole lot of loving attention to them. Otherwise, they just kind of go and die, which is very sad. As you see there, the Spore Crawler, 1 Queen for 1 Muta. The thing is, the Queen count, Queens are amazing. Queens are the best units. You want heals? Boom. You want anti-air? Boom. You want a bunch of armor, so mutas can't really deal with it? A bunch of range? No problem. Only costs minerals? Amazing. Doesn't cost any larva? What? Can they fly? Don't talk about that. Not since the accident. Anyways, though, Scarlett is opting for the direct counter. The Hydras and the Lurkers. Not trying to sneak to Vipers or Infestors or anything like that, or rely on just Queens. It is going to be Hydras. So the question will be how TLO handles this. Where are you going? You know those are 2 sport... Like, what? I mean, how many... Okay, only 2 mutas. That is surprisingly low. At this point, it's really going to come down to the engagements and whether or not a bunch more mutas are bleeding out. The Banelings sneaking in. Really, well, probably we're looking for a drone transfer. Also, the Banelings can potentially kill Spores because they do additional damage to buildings. There's going to be Lurkers. What does TLO do once he sees the Lurkers? The Lurker Den finishes so quick, and the Lurkers shred Lings and Banes. I'm not sure if it's a one-shot or not, but with Lurkers here, at like... I don't know. Well, TLO trying to close in with the Banes, getting shredded, but are the mutas enough? The first engage is a bit of a false start there. 5 mutas have gone down thus far, but here comes TLO again, looking for another angle. The Lurker's being targeted. Gonna sacrifice mutas for the cause. Lurkers at a premium, but here come the Lings and Banes rolling straight in. Now that the Lurkers aren't here, they're looking for the Hydras. He's diving deep in the paint. That's a 5-second violation right there. But at this point, nobody's getting dunked on. Well, what is the Hydra count? 2 Hydras. That's not very many Hydras, but the Muta count has been whittled down as well. The Lings and Banes looking for a deciding engagement. The Spore Crawler's still alive, but not for long. Mutas are bleeding out. The Lings are overwhelming, but reinforcements are on the way for Scarlett. Lings all up in the 3rd. Scarlett has 82 drones. What? What? So she can afford to lose a few of them. Some Lurkers will burrow, but of course there are no Lurker upgrades as there's no Hive. TLO continues grinding forward. Scarlett not able to put together the critical mass of fences. That drone count getting knocked down once again. If Scarlett just hadn't built 82 drones... What are you doing building 82 drones? Oh, Scarlett does have a Hive. But she's still going to be hurting. This is a tough position. The Lurkers just didn't have the stopping power. 2 Lurkers are not enough, is what TLO says. Now we have the vulnerable base. Scarlett now mining through the mineral wall, taking some inspiration, and desperately needs to get that 4th up because TLO has his 4th. Wait, no, 5th. I'm not even registering because it's usually a weird pattern of taking bases. The Vipers are very important. The Mutas are the wedge that drives open these bases. They're the important leverage that allows TLO access. And this is not an army that ages well. Eventually, the mutas can be dealt with, but only if Scarlett is able to maintain this position. Another cancel. Not a kill, but a cancel still. Just the lack of mining at this location. There are parasitic bombs ready. Potential devastating damage. The Vipers are spotted. Mutas coming in. Are there any parabombs? One thrown out. Oh, it will catch one of the mutas, though. One of the mutas in a key location pops back, but the parasitic bomb maintains after death at that location. The Hydras come back. Good damage on the first parasitic bomb. Now the Vipers, since they also fly, that's a good skill to have. Oh, beautiful parabomb again. Throws another one out. TLO quick on the splits. Still going to lose a couple more mutas. Oh, where are you going? Okay. Parasitic bombs do not kill mutas, only if they're at full HP. They heal just enough to heal through it. But if they're anywhere below, even like the Hydra's looking angrily at them and getting a couple points of damage, they do die to a parasitic bomb. And of course, anyone nearby, if they decide to stay, it's like having the plague. Unfortunately, they don't actually have the plague. That would be very nice combined with parasitic bomb. Make Starcraft Brood War again. There were some drops coming in. I believe, I actually don't know what was in these dropper lords here. It appears to have been cleaned up. Maybe Lings and Banes? If I missed a Bane drop, I'm going to be very disappointed, but Scarlett probably missed it as well, so that would make some sense. Thing is, Scarlett holding it together. An incredible game one, by the way, of this first weekly cup. So many good games. I mean, every single week, 3 tournaments on top of the 6 Masters tournaments a year. There's going to be so much StarCraft. This is probably a bad time, but I'm looking at putting together once a week, Game of the Week on YouTube. And I'm sure plenty of other casters will have something like it as well. But who will compete for Game of the Week? Will it be just games I cast? I don't know. Invite me to your games, pro players. But I'm excited for that. Ooh. Losing one of the Mutalisks. Another parasitic bomb. TLO, I feel like he's running out of real estate for these mutas here. He's making Vipers himself. Scarlett has held on. What are the ground upgrades? Just, well, it's +1, +2. Scarlett going for +2 now. 1-1 on the ground. TLO gonna match it. Oh, oh, parasitic bomb. Okay. Oh, no! Ah! I'm sorry. I apologize. Meanwhile, TLO's opting. Scarlett has... It's going to be both lurker upgrades in a moment. Wow, those Zerglings. No adrenal glands yet. Wait, am I right about that? I am. With adrenal glands, they would have shredded this base. But TLO is hurting for gas. Scarlett had the advantage of already going down this tech path. The mutas got a lot done. But Scarlett is held. The Vipers... By the way, if you're playing the drinking game at home, whenever Vipers abduct one another, that's a drink. And if you're being responsible, like myself, just stay hydrated. All right, very important. Who says your drink can't be water? Oh, the abductions. Oh, wait. Okay, so wait, what's happening? So TLO abducted 4 times, killing 0 Vipers. Scarlett abducted 1 time, killing 1 Viper. So far, the efficiency rating is definitely going into Scarlett's favor. Also laying down a whole lot of spines, 14 minutes and 20 seconds in. TLO's getting essentially everything else in the upgrade counters, whereas Scarlett is locking down her position at home, making sure counterattacks aren't an option. Banelings connecting with a lurker, actually dodging lurker shots there to an extent. The thing is, counterattacks are going to be very tough against this much of a backbone. Spines and spores everywhere. Get over here! Or not. Or do. Okay, lurkers in awkward scenarios. Blinding clouds. Mutas as well, remember. Wait, where are the observers are in a weird spot. Blinding clouds into lurkers. Scarlett is doing a whole lot of damage, but... Wait, are the... Oh, there's still lurkers. The Hydra shred everything. Everything's dead. Scarlett on the attack for essentially the first time in the game. Looks like it's going to be a game-winning one. An awkward engagement. I don't think TLO was quite ready for that fight yet. Everything disjointed. The blinding cloud's off the mark, and Scarlett comes up, plants down and shreds through. Lurkers everywhere. Sitting at the front door, which is actually a hard wall until Scarlett makes quick work of it. Lurkers on each base. TLO gonna try to fight it out, but he's on the floor bleeding out. Some good moves. TLO looking strong, but Scarlett looking stronger. The Mutiling was great right up until it wasn't. Well, if you're wondering how to deal with Mutiling, just stay cool, stay calm. I'm sorry. Wait, what? TLO? That says 975. And yes, there are many keyboard tricks, and TLO is at the bleeding edge of things like that. But thank you, by the way, to Pulse. Good games today. Thank you for the raid. Super exciting to see. I don't know if he's still here. Like, why would he actually watch me cast? But thank you for the raid as well. And thank you for showing such great games for the fans. Send me your games versus Bly. But I'm looking forward to casting way more. Oh, I almost missed the game. That was close. Scarlett is looking... She doesn't break. Okay, like everyone else. Well, in the 2 matches I've seen, and this is the second one. Oh, my matches, not sets, but... Oh, Jimmy. Monsignor Rodney the Esteeming. Able to take more than Lieutenant Colonel Foster of the Obelisk. A 41 kill lurker is usually a pretty good indicator of who's winning the game. So, Scarlett a Titan. So, it's really going to depend. Either way, honestly, at this point, Scarlett is looking down the barrel of being your very first ESL Pro Tour Weekly Cup champion. She's got either, well, assuming TLO isn't able to pull some tricks out of his hat. The winner of this match faces the winner of Nice and Cham, of which I think Cham is favored, but Nice has a strong shot, but I think Cham is the solid favorite, which would leave a ZVZ. And Cham is a very scary timing attack player. We've seen him just slap around his opponents thus far. Not Pult. Pult taking it a lot further. But in ZVZ and ZVP, he's just kind of, this is my timing to attack, and now I win the game. And nobody's been able to stop that. Pult the only one to slow him down. Would be a very interesting match, but we'll see. And remember, these ESL Pro Tour Weekly Cups, every week, there's North America, Europe, and Asia server. At different times. Anyone can participate in any cup, so technically you could sign up for all 3. The only issue would be that the Asia Cup is at midnight Eastern Time, which I believe is 1 p.m. Korea. The European Cup is at, I want to say like 11 a.m. Eastern or something like that, 5 p.m. Europe. And then the North America Cup. So essentially you're playing StarCraft all day with some massive gaps in between. But if you really wanted to, and I wonder if the same player, I don't know the exact rules, but I assume Scarlett could play in all 3 and win all 3 and get the $100 win first place prize, of which that's the only prize, as well as the ESL points towards the Pro Tour. So, you know, that might get really interesting. Like, if a few players are very close to getting into the event, and like those players not being like Cyril, these tournaments could make all the difference. I'm not exactly sure how the math works out. But you win enough. You get the points and work towards the Masters tournaments and, well, the ESL Pro Tour and DreamHack Masters tournaments. So. And I might be like, Winter, are you going to talk about the game? No, I take a lot of cues from Tastosis. So we've made it a solid 3 minutes without saying, wow, looks like they're both doing the same thing, a standard build. And they are. Third base, Lingbane, no sneaky Evo chambers or lairs, similar drone count. The first Evo chamber comes up from TLO, but at a timing that indicates he probably wants to go for roaches. We've seen it before, we'll see it again. But now things get interesting. How much do they even invest in Zerg? Usually one player will build at least a dozen lings or so and poke around, see what happens. Even at the top level. While both players are respect each other enough and confident enough they'll defend an all-out Lingbane attack at this stage of the game, simply the micro is too good. In 2020, after a decade, people have learned how to play Lingbane well enough that roaches kind of become the default. And that's why in a lot of games we just see eventually roaches before any serious engagements. Like Scarlett's out here. This is are you good enough? Like, can you handle it? We're gonna have a dozen lings, maybe, not even that. A handful of banelings. If TLO makes a big mistake or overreacts, then Scarlett can edge out a lead, but the best defense is a good offense to an extent as well. Bane. Looking for drones. Banes go right by. One drone. Wait, TLO ends up... Will we see a transfuse on a drone? No, not quite. So Scarlett breaks through. There we go! What a save! But that opens up the opportunity for the Lynx to get a scout, get full confirmation of what's going down. Scarlett will know that TLO is going for the +1, going for the lair, has a reasonable drone count. Scarlett doing something very similar. The only major difference is the lair timing. TLO gets in. All right. Everybody's cards are on the table. The lair is spotted. TLO gonna take a 4th base, which is maybe a little ambitious, but Scarlett gonna oblige by making another dozen drones. All right. A handful of roaches. Like, this is a half-hearted attack, but it might be successful. TLO pre-canceling the base. It's going to bait him into making some more roaches. He's got +2 on the way as well to start. Whoa, whoa, whoa! TLO is definitely... Oh, he's biting down hard on this. This was a complete fake out of Scarlett. Well, okay, not complete, but these units had no intention of attacking. If these 3 spines complete, it's not a waste of money, but look at the drone count. Scarlett has successfully ground out a drone lead while faking aggression, and also the Overlord's out on the map. Scarlett's all over the place. There's a Bane drop coming in. Overseer scouting through. A couple of the spines were canceled. One will complete. That's fine. But the drop is coming in. TLO splits, but there's not even a queen here. The queen came down to chase the Overseer. This is going to get a little awkward. Oh, Scarlett. There could be nothing in there, by the way. TLO doesn't know. This might be a total bluff. She stopped so much money and stopped the 4th as well. The banelings will drop out, showing, yes, there was something in there. But I love the zoning drop. Meanwhile, though, TLO has speed and +1 and can chase down Scarlett's roaches for a few more seconds. 15 seconds until Scarlett's speed is done. Does have the roach count here, but no reason for TLO not to fight when his reinforcements get there faster. He's going to have +2 if he can maintain the roach production. I'm not sure where the supply difference is. Oh, there's a bunch of banelings! Oh, massive hit! It's a disaster for Scarlett. Nope, TLO. TLO is the one. It's great for Scarlett. 14 drone kills, and suddenly TLO is much, much, much more all-in than he originally was with this engagement. Scarlett going to push up and fight. The reinforcements continue trickling forward, and Scarlett is closer to her base than TLO is to his. And now he's down 13 drones. He's getting his +2 attack. He's getting burrow move. But he's no longer on the economy to just be throwing away roaches left and right. I love the usage. Like, banelings at some point usually just get phased out. We're done. Like, the Lingbane phase has ended. Now we're doing Roach Ravager of whatever variety. But Scarlett says, well, I made... Oh! The tactical goop on +2 attack as well, limiting any potential timing. literally 4.8 seconds. Now it's not going to be a game ender here, but that will eliminate any sort of window. Oh, the drones will burrow. Finally, people realizing if they go burrow move, they can also burrow their drones, which is something that isn't utilized nearly enough. Scarlett should realize at this point burrow move is indeed done. A whole lot of units are moving up, and TLO does not have enough to defend this. Scarlett's going to have 2-1. There's no overseer. There's about to be. Uh-oh. Oh, I think TLO spotted that at the last second. This is getting more and more desperate. Oh, roach drop taken out. Hydra's on the way. I think that Hydra just inspired TLO to build it. I mean, Scarlett. Oh my god. All Zergs look alike to me. I'm sorry. At this point, Scarlett says, well, all I need to do is not die. So... And she's mostly right. The only sticking point is maybe lurkers, but TLO hasn't started a lurker now. Groove spawns on the way. It's just going to go straight up for the Hydras. Scarlett immediately starts lurker down. TLO, there is an opportunity here before lurkers are on the field. Just having straight up Hydras adds significantly to your DPS, and there aren't enough Ravagers out from Scarlett to really force out a lot of micro. Oh, the Roach Ravager. This, like, TLO's got to make some moves. He's got to make some moves. Oh, he does not have Overlord speed either, rather. The Roach Ravager looking for a counterattack. There's not that much at home. It's unclear who's surrounding who. The army's in awkward positions here. TLO's going to fight forward. Army's on the chase. Who's flanking who at the end of the day? Meanwhile, TLO's going to rotate past. The army's on the chase. Corrosive Biles zone out. Scarlett, both players maxed out, but TLO is more all in. TLO's on 3 bases. He's got a little bit more army supply. Scarlett, both sides 2-1. Lurker den is done. It really comes down to managing where your army is. A couple Hydras are involved in this fight. It looks like one's a little distracted. Scarlett targeting the Hydras here. They do add a lot of DPS. TLO somehow slipped by into the 4th base. Scarlett pulls back, leaving some of the units. Scarlett's going to win. TLO's going to win fights on some sides of this, but another army's being kind of cornered. TLO's bringing back the reinforcements. The changelings are getting involved, trying to segment off the armies. It's like 3 players are fighting at once, but it's just the one-on-one. Meanwhile, the Ravager's being targeted. TLO kind of spread quite thinly here, but a lot of reinforcements are on the way. The Hydras are very vulnerable. They got to be careful to be at the back of the lines, but Scarlett just has so many roaches, that overwhelming economy. 4 bases of larva, and TLO's army is thinning out, trying to outmaneuver Scarlett. And she holds it down and knocks it out. Scarlett is through to the finals of ESL Pro Tour Weekly Cup #1. GG! And that's all over. Let's see if TLO broke 1,000 APM that game. No, only 615. Scarlett just... It's the little things.